Well, wouldn't you believe it? I've come back with another modding tool. Nah, just kidding. Nothing to do with modding at all, actually. This is very different from most. And by that I mean, not only is it entirely unrelated to modding, but also it's written in a different programming language because I'm mainly known for modding tools that are written in Java, but now I've taken a new direction, which I think I won't consider in the future for all my other programs. It's most of the ones that actually need to be written in C# rather than the ones that I want to be written in C#. So my hands are kind of tied here. The program I'm talking about is, of course, called WildSenzu. I know I took inspiration from my WildSenzu's nonsense video, but I mean, I can only come up with so many names. So that's the best I could do. Even for the UI I made, it's just rather basic. I used WPF instead of Windows Forms because it's closer to what I knew about JavaFX, but even then it proved to be tedious to work with. So I'm going to show the GUI or UI version first, then the command line version, because I did make the program support both. It's a convention I try to follow. To show the effectiveness of this program, I've downloaded other versions of the emulator, but I will try out the latest one first. But before that, I want to give a huge shout out to Nightfire over here, because I did take quite a lot of inspiration wouldn't be the right word, more like guidance, because I was following what was pretty much said here, more or less. Like, I try to replicate what is C++ code, but in C#, and doing it one-to-one wasn't perfect, but still, I really like what they've written here. And it even encouraged me to actually look at the source code of the emulator itself. And not only that, but Nightfire, they've made an actual API to make trainers in PCSX2, though I felt like making my own trainer rather than using theirs, or calling Cheat Engine in the background, which is, for example, what Miseru99's Sparking Trainer would do. Sadly, that trainer doesn't seem to work anymore, at least for the later versions of PCSX2. But again, I'm inclusive, and based on what was said in the guide, I assured that the program will work only for version 1.7 or higher, since that's the version that introduced a huge transition for the emulator. So for anyone who's still on Windows 7, as I used to be, I'm rather sorry, but you're gonna have to upgrade, or just make a virtual machine, I don't know. Enough about that. Let's just jump right into it. I have many ISOs here, but I'm actually going to try the European version of BD4, a rather old version, but it should work just fine. So let's see. I'm just gonna pick some recognizable characters, let's say, and I'm doing this to show that this isn't really meant for modded ISO, like any of them, since the names are still those of the original characters, but it's fine. I mean, I have allowed the user to change the character names from a CSV file in the assets folder. That can be done just fine. And if it doesn't find a name somehow, it will just say unknown, and then it will show the character ID in brackets. Let's not mind the lag for now, since I am recording still while the program itself is running, because the program, I have to admit, is a bit resource intensive. I mean, it is, after all, doing what the game itself is doing, which is to, in the background, constantly check for the health and character IDs of every character. This doesn't just work for 1v1s, like Sparking Trainer would. And even better, it doesn't just work for Duel mode. It works for every game mode, including Dragon History, which Sparking Trader had issues with. So, of course, I'm not going to play the entire thing. I'm just going to show, again, not only that team battles are supported, but that the story mode itself is supported, again. So here we have Goku and Piccolo and Raditz with the correct amount of HP. So 6 health bars, 4 health bars. Get the idea. Again, I'm not going to wait too long for this. It's just to showcase damage being done. See, that's a good amount. And as you can see, I can actually select the cells here while the game is paused, but I cannot do that while it's running. Because again, the table, both of them, are constantly being written to it. It's kind of the point, actually. So if I switch, and this is something you might learn, is that even in story mode, I actually recover 100 health points per second. Yep, you can see right here. Again, I'm not going to wait for the entire bar to come back, but it is something worth pointing out. So, now something else I want to show is that if I close, or if I just go right here, it actually resets the names and health values, but they do come back. If you just unpause the game, I come back right to it. But if I want to shut down, if I want to exit, now if I exit, I purposely made sure that the program itself also closes. Yes, that is, of course, to prevent the program from checking a process that has been terminated. Now I can move to the older versions. Let's try 1.7.3 since it is the oldest. I did download 4 versions, but for time reasons, I'm not going to show all of them. If anything, right now, what I want to do is showcase the command line version, since I do find it just way more interesting. So let's move to my drive real quick, and again, not going to take too long here. There we go. So WildSenzu.exe-H to get an idea on how to use it. Okay, sounds pretty good. Let's just type USA. I could try Japan as well, because again, same region being detected and the debugging information is correct. So let's try this mod of Sparking Meteor. Then again, not too fond of it myself, but I'm not here to give my opinions on these modded ISOs. They're still, let's say, playgrounds. Like here, for example, I'm just gonna go in, I think Dragon Ball Tour would be good. Or no, let's keep it simple. Let's do Ultimate Training, because I can also showcase how the health is being regenerated. Let's select. Hopefully the game doesn't crash here. I have a feeling it will, because not every character in this ISO has. I mean, I got proven wrong to my surprise. But yeah, see here, it's constantly loading. It will only stop if the game is paused, if characters are switching, transforming, fusing. I did make sure to include a few cases where it just doesn't log everything. So let's do a basic combo. My hits are missing a lot. That's okay. See, so we got the health regeneration, so we can notice that it's by 400 health every 100 milliseconds, around that amount. But it's usually 2 frames equivalent, something like around those terms. Okay, I'm not really measuring the time here, but I'm still keeping track of timestamps. So again, I can just scroll back down. And another use case where the program stops logging is if I just exit the match. And there we go, now it worked. But if I just shut down, then it won't. Which is why it's best to close the program instead. There we go, it even says it's been terminated. Ignore the double extension, I might actually fix that, because here's just one extension. So I made sure to clarify that, hey, we have a log file written here, and pretty much the same thing. Same timestamp, so it pretty much, whatever was in the console, it wrote back here, in case you're not able to scroll all the way up. So that's that. Yep, the logging will only be written to a file if the emulator is closed. That's about it. Now let's switch to version 2.2 this time. Yep, let's try 2.2, and let's launch the UI again. Now, just so we're clear again, I don't have to launch the program first, or the emulator first. There's no particular order. But there is a rare case, which I noticed, when I would try to open the emulator after the program while I was like streaming or recording, already eating up a lot of my RAM. And in that case, I would notice an exception being thrown, a Win32 exception. So I made sure to try and catch that and inform the user in case that happens. So let's just launch the program first this time, and then the emulator. As you can see, still works just fine. Even the console itself doesn't show any exceptions or anything unusual. Let's just switch to my ISO of choice, aka the one I made. Wow, I mean, how surprising is that? Let's choose a tournament, and any character will do. Nope. Again, I'm not gonna go through the entire fight, it's just to show that there's really no restriction. Again, let me just move this up a bit. I did make sure that it is resizable, but it doesn't change the size of the table. And yeah, that's another thing, I can just clip like that. So let me just I'm trying to use an emergency blaster wave, but I made sure that if you use an emergency blaster wave without being hit, it will just count as a taunt. Like that. Oh, there we go, now it landed. Yeah, and then here, I mean, it's still set to 5000. Now, the UI is slow and resource intensive in cases where you're trying to resize it, or just in general, like when you're moving it around while it's still being updated. That. Yep, because it is doing what the game itself is doing. So it's like running, not a copy of the entire game, but like a copy of a portion of the game's routine, yes. So I've effectively showcased the 3 versions. I don't have much more to say here, because the program pretty much does what it's told to. Now again, I could go back to another ISO. Doesn't even have to be specific to the region, because I made sure that the region can only be changed while a game is not running. So if I go here and relaunch the game, but on a different ISO, on a different game mode even, it's really not going to have an issue. It's just the way it operates. So if I try this mission... Oh no. It's not really going to get bothered by the fact. So it will operate just fine. So as you can see, let me just move this up a bit. There we go. Remember, we got all the info we need. So really, what more is there to say? The program does its job. I mean, it's more of a visualizer, but it still operates like a trainer. So in case I want to turn it into a trainer, or have it visualize other aspects of the battle, say the current number of key bars or blast stock units or switch stock units. If they want to do something like that, feel free to get inspired. My programs are open source and I'm also open to feedback. So, what more can I say? Until the next program.